Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the official day 2 of our daily creative challenge for Photoshop. How y'all doing? Come into the chat, give me a shout out. I want to know how it's going in the morning for you or if it's the evening. I saw somebody was in South Africa. Very cool. Good morning, Pam. Good to see you. I'm going to turn on some music and I'll just let y'all filter in. Come in, class, come in. All right, now we got the chill beats going in the background. What's up, Sam? Like I said, welcome to day 2. I'm Kathleen. I'm your host. I'm a designer at Adobe, and we're going to be getting moody today, making a mood board. Ooh, very exciting. Looking forward to catching some good ideas from Kathleen. Catch them. Reel them in. I hope they're good ideas. Hope you don't throw them back. It's okay if you do, though. Good evening from Rotterdam. Hello, good evening and morning. Cute hair going on, thanks. All right, so if you are new to the Daily Creative Challenge, let's just jump into this landing page so you can get started. Clear this, do this, perfect. So if you want to join the Daily Creative Challenge, super easy, go to behance.net/challenge/Photoshop and you will land here on the landing page. And this is where you can register by clicking this button. And you'll get a little bit of information about how it all works. So basically this is a 2-week challenge. We just started on Monday and we're going to be going until next Friday. So we're going to have a different challenge every morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. So it's very cool. You're stuck with me for 2 weeks. Chad says my dog is in a mood this morning. A good mood? My dog was in a snoozy mood this morning. He did not want to get up. But I said, we gotta go do the challenge, bud. I need you there. You're my support. All right, if you scroll down, you can see that yesterday's challenge was to create our cover image for our portfolio piece on our Behances. So we created the thumbnail image that's going to entice people to click on our profiles and say, ooh, what's this all about? Let me see those Photoshop skills. And just to reiterate, these challenges are totally beginner friendly. They're really simple. But if you are more leveled up in Photoshop, you can just go wild. You can take the nugget of the idea of the challenge and just go for it. You do not have to use the starter files that we provide. You can use your own imagery. I actually think that would be really cool if you did, if you had your own reference images. But if you want to use what I'm using and you go to this site, just click Get Started and that will take you to a download page where you can download the starter file for the Moodboard. And then there are some like stock previews I included as well. They're going to have a watermark on them because they're not licensed, which is even more reason to find your own imagery. Oh, you can see my mic. There it is. You can find your own imagery, take your own photos, do your own thing. All right, back to here. And we had a couple questions like this yesterday. If you want to come back and watch the stream later, it's super easy to do that. Just click watch video. It's saved here forever. You can also scroll down and you'll see all of the past challenges and you can watch all of the videos in a row. You can watch one by one. You can still get the starter file. So these challenges are still here. This is like years of school you can just go through. It's pretty sweet. Sean says I made a spinny chair cover. No, you didn't, Sean. That's amazing. I need to click on it and see that. I don't see any covers, Sean, on your Behance. I won't believe it till I see it. What's up, Melinda? Okay, so let's jump into the challenge. Actually, before that, we're going to go over Discord super quick. So like I said, you're stuck with me Monday through Friday, but Discord is open 24/7, and it's a huge part of the whole workflow here. So if you don't know what Discord is, I'm opening it up right now. It's basically a giant chat server where you can get information about the challenge each day in this creative challenge channel. And then the most important part is in this feedback group, click on current challenge, and that's where people are posting all of their work from this challenge to get feedback. I was able to be in here for like 15 minutes yesterday, so I need to jump in for longer today to give some feedback on yesterday's challenges. We've got some awesome skewing. Ooh, Carol, this is nice. Did you use like a distortion or a displacement map on this? That's awesome. But you can post your work here and get feedback and then post it on your final portfolio as your final piece. It's like art school. It's great, but for free. All right, yeah, Darius, you can definitely find awesome free photos on Unsplash. So if you want to join us on Discord, it's super duper easy. Just go here, bit.ly/psdiscord. Oh, now you can see the side of my screen. What's going on today? But yeah, you just click that link. It's free. You can do it on your browser, your desktop, or your phone. So get on there. There's also one for Illustrator and XD. And there's also challenges going on for those as well. What's up, Olivia? Melinda says, finally subtitles are working. I'll try to enunciate so they are correct. We're not stuck with you. You're always welcome on my screen. Pam, you're always welcome on my screen as a tiny little icon in a string of text. Let's jump into Photoshop, shall we? So if you have ever made a mood board before, raise your hand in the chat. Give me a little, I don't know, raise your hand somehow in the chat. Do a little like side dash. Have you ever made a mood board? I thought this would be an interesting exercise initially when I was planning this to actually be a mood board for the projects that we're going to be making. My neighbor is hammering on his roof right now. Sorry about that. But in light of recent events and protests and the Black Lives Matters movement in the United States, I thought this could also be a good time to maybe do some visual journaling as well. You can insert images of how you're feeling. You can insert images of your mood. You can insert images of things that are inspiring to you. I'm going to do things that are inspiring to me, and hopefully they will guide me in this project that we're going to be doing for the next 2 weeks. But feel free to do this as a visual journal and just kind of an exercise as well. I'm totally open to that. So the whole meat of this tutorial is to show you guys the frame tool. Very exciting. Sounds awesome. Good, Danielle. I'm gonna go close my window really quick. Have a nice view of my chair. Ta-da! I'm coming back, I'm coming back, I'm coming back. I'm back. Let's get to it. All right, Darius. All right. All right. So we are going to be talking about the frame tool specifically in Photoshop. And if you download the starter file, you'll notice that you have a Photoshop document with tons of shape layers in it. We've got this circle, we've got these rectangles, and I want to convert these basically to photo frames where I can just plop a picture in, I can move it around kind of like an InDesign if you've ever used the frame tool in InDesign. Sig says, frame tool, ugh, last time I didn't get what I wanted and it was way harder than other methods. Oh no, hopefully I can help again today. That's a nice chair. That is a nice chair. We still see the Discord background. Oh no, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, starter file, shapes. My neighbor's construction noises really threw me for a loop. All right, so we have a bunch of shapes. Now let's turn all of these shapes into frames so we can literally just drag and drop photos so that we land with something more like this. Easy peasy. Thank you guys. I don't know whether it's a big deal, but I originally used InDesign to create a mood board. There you go, Timothy. The frame tool is very similar to the way that photos work in InDesign. The delay is really funny. Thank you all for telling me to share my screen. All right, I'm gonna close. Actually, we'll just drag this over a little bit. There we go. We talked yesterday about how we can change the workspace in Photoshop to fit our own needs. So we're really going to be focusing on this layers panel for right now. So there's a really easy way to make all of these shapes into frames, and that is to simply right click on the layer, convert to frame. You can rename it if you would like to. Since these are all rectangles and circles, I don't feel the need to really rename them. If I was working on a huge document, then maybe. Is your neighbor preparing for doomsday? Could be, you never know. How do you turn to frames? There you go, right click, convert to frames. So now you can tell down here that this layer doesn't look like this anymore. This is showing the frame, and it even comes with its very own layer mask if we want to use it. All right, I'm just gonna do this really quickly. I can't convert them all to frames at the same time because I believe it would then change them all into one frame, which I want them to stay separate. So I left the starter file as shape layers for you, so you could go through this tedious exercise as well, because by the end of this, you are never going to forget how to convert to frames. Now, if you want to convert back to just a normal layer, you can totally do that. You can remove the frame from the layer. So right click, convert. I lost it, there it is. Convert to frames. There we go, and there we go. Perfect. So frames are super duper easy. All you're gonna do is make sure that it is focused, and what that means is when you click on a layer, you'll notice these little white kind of lines around it, and that means Photoshop is focusing on that right now, so whatever you do on your board, it's going to directly affect this layer. What was the square symbol in the layers before you changed it to frame? Great question. That means, are you talking about this little guy? That means that this layer is a shape layer. So the way that I even made these layers in the first place was I came over to my tools panel, I grabbed a shape tool. So for this one, I used the ellipse tool, but we'll just do the rectangle tool. And I can drag out a shape, and that makes a new layer. And the way that this is important is because if it's a shape layer, then we can change the fill color, the stroke color, super duper easily. In Photoshop, this used to not be possible. This is acting more like Illustrator. So this is a relatively new-ish feature where we can have these live shapes that will change on the fly. All right, we'll delete that. I'm gonna turn this back into a frame. And let's grab one of my images and drop it in. So I've got some in my downloads. We'll grab this. And you'll notice when I grab it and drag it, I see that gray frame. So plop it in, it's thinking. There we go. Boom, you can convert shapes, vectors, and type to frames. Yes, this is really cool if you want to mask a photo within text. You can convert text to a frame as well. So this is really where you guys shine, and you get to choose how you want to lay out your mood board. Like I said, I've just kind of been collecting imagery that I've been enjoying and is inspiring to me. It's like a little bit summery, a little bit atmospheric, a little bit vintage. Whoops. And if I want to actually edit the photo in the frame, make sure that you're on this move tool. You can tap V on your keyboard if you want to activate it. Make sure you have your frame activated and double click into it. Whoops, sometimes this doesn't work. There we go. So you're going to want to be able to see that blue bounding box, and you can basically just click until you see it. All right, we'll drag this back in. Oh, and I had that incorrect. You got to make sure that the actual image is focused. So check this out. Right now the frame is focused. Right now the image inside the frame is focused, and that means we can move it around inside the frame. I'm just clicking to select whatever I want. And from here, we can resize things, but it does not go past the edge of the frame. So I'm keeping in mind the circle that's on the left of it. I want this kind of parasol, oceany vintage photo to work well with it. So I'm gonna kind of line up the horizon, maybe with kind of the top. You could even rotate it a little bit. Size it down. I kind of liked it bigger. Since the seagull image kind of has that seagull as a very small focal point, and these parasols are acting like similar sized focal points, maybe I don't want them to be so close in size. Maybe I want them to be a little bit bigger. So you can play with it, see what you like. We could just not even show any water, or we could go a lot smaller. We got a lot more frames to figure out. Cannot get stuck on this ocean image. All right, we're just gonna stay with this for now, and once we're done making our changes, make sure you click this check mark or hit return on your keyboard to just commit those changes. Are you dragging the photos in from Lightroom? I just have them in my downloads, but I could also grab them from my Finder. So I have them all in here. Let's grab another one. So I'll take another photo. How about this one? There we go. I tried to pick a lot of images that were either blue or dark blue or kind of darker in value. That's nice, I like that. Grab another one. How's the frame different from using a layer with a mask? Great question. So the frame really just offers some constraint or like organization. So this is really good if you are laying out a copy document that has a lot of copy in it, or like a magazine or a newsletter. If you know you want pictures in this frame and this frame, you can just leave those frames blank and then easily swap in and out your pictures. It's super easy to come back over to your layer and then replace your contents. So if I click replace contents after right clicking on my layer, I can choose a different photo and it will replace it. So yeah, this is great if you know that you might get like a photo update or you just have a work in progress so far. Layer masks do the same thing, but they're a little bit more wily. You really have to like manually put them in place. How do you put the photo in when you have the file open? The photo file, you need to locate the photo on your computer, wherever it's saved. Do you use a specific order on the canvas to get the pictures to emphasize the mood? That's a great question. I did think about the rhythm of where these images are placed next to each other. So for example, we have a lot of like kind of horizontal planes in this top row, and since they are all skinny rectangles, I thought that kind of worked well together. But if you are just using this as a visual diary, I would recommend just plopping things in and seeing how they feel. I might even bring this black staticky one in again down here. I wanted these circles to kind of act like a color palette, but I wanted to add a little bit more texture to the color palette. So we'll do that. Maybe we'll add, ooh, I remember which one I wanted to do. This one, I love this pattern. There we go. I thought the circle went well with the circle that's sitting on top of it. And bada bing, bada boom. I could spend the rest of the time just placing more images in here, but I'm going to jump to my finished piece. So you'll notice I have these final images in here and they feel more cohesive than this. And that's because I used a similar color to overlay on top of everything to really bring the mood together. And the way that I did that is after I had all of my frame layers, in a group, I added a photo filter. So let's delete this one. Simple way to add a photo filter is to come down here to your adjustment layers. That's what this little half circle icon is at the bottom of your layers. You'll open up that and you can choose a ton of different adjustment layers. The one that I chose is photo filter, and that's really what it's acting as. It's just a filter of a color over all of your images. So in the properties panel, if you have it open, you'll see that it changes to the photo filter window, and we can change a warming filter, maybe cooling, since I wanted everything to feel kind of blue, very Photoshop-esque. And this one's a little bit too intense. Maybe we'll go with this. We can play with the density. And you can even change the blend mode if you want to change how it affects all of your images. The blend mode is at the top of your layers panel. It's this drop down and you can get a live preview of everything as you go through and scroll through. So whoa, scary. I kind of like this vintagey feel. Everything still feels a little blue, maybe a little bit green. That's kind of scary. The top left doesn't really feel like it fits in, so I could swap that image out as well. I could go for screen, so it's a little bit lighter, kind of high key. And then you can also increase or decrease the opacity here by scrubbing left and right, or just dropping this slider open and increasing and decreasing it, and that's going to increase or decrease the intensity of your color filter. So I'm just going to turn the one on that I had initially. I'm going to get this exported and we can get it uploaded onto Discord and Behance. Go to File, Export. You can do quick export as PNG if you want to share it on Discord. Let's do export as so we have some more options. We have a good width. This is the same size actually as the starter image from yesterday, so they'll stack nicely on top of each other. Export, we can go to day 2. We'll say live, day 2, final file. Do you use a mood board to start a presentation? That's a great idea. I wouldn't say start the presentation, but when you start to talk about the process, your design process, it's great to show a mood board. Mood boards are also really helpful if you're working with clients and they might not be so sure of where they actually want to go. You can encourage them to make a mood board or make one with them. You can ask them for inspiration imagery and then you make a mood board for them using the frame tool. That could be very valuable. Thanks, Chad. Love the ocean theme. Yeah, maybe I'm craving the ocean. I live pretty close to the ocean, but it's a scary ocean. I'm not used to the Pacific. Freaks me out. All right, let's upload this onto Behance. We're going to go to our profiles, and we have our projects from yesterday. Sticking with the blue Photoshop theme, of course. Really easy way to edit your Behance project is to hover over this cog, click Edit, and boom, there you go. What size is the mood board? I believe it's 1920 wide, and I'm not sure how tall, but you can download the starter file super easily. And you can make your own, doesn't have to be the size that I made it. All right, day 2. I'm gonna say I'm really excited to see all of your visual journals or your mood boards. I'm excited to see where you take this. Do not feel pressured to make it a visual journal. If you'd rather not do that right now, that's totally fine, but I think it's a good exercise. Sometimes writing is difficult, but images are a little bit easier. All right, we have our image. Let's save it. Let's see how it looks. Manuel says, I always use a mood board to start a logo presentation. Awesome. Ooh, so what do you include on that kind of mood board? Is it other logos? Is it things that inspired you for the logo? There we go. We have our cover image, we have our mood board, and then we will continue from here tomorrow with tomorrow's challenge. So if you have any further questions or you want to get feedback, please come to Discord, upload your work. I'm going to upload mine, see what y'all think. The mood is real. Can't wait to see your work. Seriously, I can't wait. So upload your work here if you want to get some feedback. And then coming up right after me, we have more Adobe live streams. So we've got Aaron Nace coming up. Have you guys heard of Flern? Kind of a big deal in the Photoshop tutorial realm. Aaron Nace is super talented and awesome. If you stick around at 9:30, you will not be sorry, and you will learn a lot. Your brain might explode. I don't know if you're brave enough to go, but I recommend it. And then after that, at 11:30, Andrew's going to be here for the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. So he's doing what I just did, showing you some really simple but powerful Photoshop or Illustrator techniques. So if you want to learn Illustrator, come back at 11:30. And then at 12, we've got some editorial design. Andrew's going to be back for the XD Daily Creative Challenge. If you'd like to learn XD, perfect place to start. And then we are going to end the day with doodle therapy and the design off with Voodoo and Wade. Alice, Voodoo, and Wade are all super talented illustrators and painters and just great people. So I recommend you just stick around all day. Mallory says, I love Flern. I'm a premium member. Yes, that's awesome. So that's even more of a reason to stick around. Like I said, I'm going to be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., but hopefully I'll see you in Discord before then. And until tomorrow, stay well, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye.